All right, so we're still in section 1.5, and now we want to go all the way down in the notes to example 4. This is a sales question. And so let's read through what we have. It says global Apple iPod sales from 2006 to 2014 can be modeled by the quadratic equation. And notice I have S equals negative 1.43x squared, yada, yada, yada. S is sales. So this is an important piece of information. My S is in sales, and it's calculated in millions of units. So whatever S is how many millions of units were sold. X equals 0 represents 2006, X equals 1 represents 2007, and so on. So we're going to go all the way up to 2014. So part A says that we should use the model to estimate sales. All right, so stop right there. That means that we want to estimate what our S value is. In 2012, now if this is in 2012, we have to convert that over to an X number. So this is going to end up being an X value of 6, if you count. And we're going to estimate our sales to the nearest tenth of a million units. And then after we're done with that, we want to compare to the actual figure of sales, which was 35.2 million units. So let's just go ahead and dive right on in. We'll use the equation and we'll plug in this X equals 6 value. So here's our equation. Plug in an X value of 6. I would solve this on your calculator because the numbers are a little bit ugly. And you're going to get that the estimated sales is going to be 37.16 million units. Now, the next thing that we were asked to do is to compare the actual sales. And so our estimate of sales, our prediction of sales was going to be 37.16 million units, but we actually sold 35.2 million units. And so our actual sales were 1.96 million units lower than the estimated sales. Now, I automatically noticed that I didn't actually follow the directions very clearly here because I was told that I should round to the nearest tenth of a million units. So really, this here should be 37.2 million units. And then my actual sales, I'm going to round this then to 2.0 million units when I read the directions carefully. Now, the second thing that we were asked to do is, according to the model, in what year beyond 2006 did the sales reach 40 million units? So now I'm looking at the sales of 40 million units. So this is an S value of 40 million. So what we're going to do then is we're going to plug 40 in for S. This is a quadratic, so let's just solve the quadratic. So we'll subtract 40 on both sides. And then what I did was I used my calculator much the same way that we did on the previous question with a projectile. And I found that I had an X value of, and again, an X value, remember this is years, an X value of 5.68696. Now, be careful to read the directions here. We're supposed to round down. Normally, we would round this number to 6 years, but this says that we're to round down to the nearest year. So we're going to say then that it's 5 years. My X value is approximately equal to 5 years. So then what year then is that? If 2006 is my year 0, in 5 years from that, that's going to be 2011. So in 2011, then the sales reached 40 million units. Now, just a quick comment, since I didn't show you the calculator steps, basically what you are going to be looking at is you're going to be looking at some kind of a shape like this, much like the projectile. You're going to be looking at the x-axis. And this particular value is not the value you're going to want. This is the value that you're going to want. The difference is that you're not going, there's two ways that you could do this. In the last question, we plugged in a y equals 100. You could plug in a y equals 0. That would be a possibility, and do an intersection. Or the second option is that you could do, when you go to second trace, instead of choosing intersection, you could choose 0. So that's an option for that. There is a video in my lab that shows you how to solve for zeros, or how to solve for x-intercepts. And this is going to be covered in the video links let's see, how did I name that? Video links with calculator keystrokes. So you can go into that list, and there it'll show you how to walk through finding the zeros.